With 8 years having passed since ReZero Season 1, I figure some of you might be looking for a little recap. Well, look no further than here, since this is all the important stuff that happened in it. All the main events to jog your memory, and a special focus on everything you're gonna want to know for Season 3. Let's jump right into it. Okay, this is Subaru, an isekai protagonist without all the things that usually makes someone an isekai protagonist. He has no powers, no special privileges, and no allies, and simply appears in a new world with the clothes on his back and a smartphone. Unfortunately, it's not as forgiving of a world as a certain other smartphone isekai, as the first people Subaru comes across are thugs. Fortunately, he's saved by our heroine Amelia, but that's only because she was chasing after the person who stole her insignia, Felt. Why is this insignia important? Well, it confirms Amelia's candidacy in the royal selection, a 3-year-long event that determines the next ruler of Lagunica. This is a powerful position more than one faction is currently vying for, so it's important Amelia secures her insignia to continue her candidacy. The other factions are going to be important to Season 3 too, but that's something that I'll talk about more towards the end of the video. For now, let's keep the focus on Amelia. So, it's here she introduces herself as Satella, which, as we know, carries quite a bit of negative connotation with it. Reason being that it's the same name as the Witch of Envy, a widely feared being known to have caused quite a bit of calamity in the world. Subaru and Amelia then continue their search for her stolen insignia, end up in the slums where they come across Old Man Rom's loot house, then both meet a grisly death at the hands of an unknown assailant. It's from here that Subaru discovers he can return by death, and his first trial with it is to recover the insignia. The reason I say trial is because, as we find out in Season 2, this was a legitimate trial Roswaal himself created. Setting that aside for now though, Subaru's return by death means that anytime he dies, he'll come back to life at a previous unspecified, unpredictable, and uncontrollable save point. It's an instant resurrection that occurs immediately at the point of death, one that seemingly has no limit to it. So this was a power Subaru was forced to get accustomed to, as the loot house proved to be rather difficult. Exactly 2 more deaths difficult. There was one more to Elsa in a deal gone wrong, then once again to the thugs right after. Both loops weren't without their benefits though, as with each cycle, Subaru was able to learn more about the people involved with the theft. There's Felt, the girl who stole the insignia, Rom the old giant acting as her guardian, then the late Edition Reinhardt, who might as well be God himself. He's actually the reason Subaru's even able to survive the next loop, as his involvement ensured Subaru's safety, albeit barely. So, with Subaru's actions having a direct impact on Amelia's insignia being returned to her, that was enough to earn Amelia's trust and have her bring the injured Subaru back to the mansion of her benefactor. It's here Subaru is eager to prove himself, all while getting acquainted with a brand new cast of characters. So, there's Roswaal, Lord of House Mathers and Head Court Mage to Lagunica, his 2 maids, Best Girl Rem and her sister Ram, then the Great Spirit of the Forbidden Library, Beatrice. Initially, things seem rather calm at first, but after 2 sequences of back-to-back mysterious deaths, Subaru is led to believe that there's a threat within the house. It was enough to make him leave and try to scope out the mansion from a distance. This revealed the shocking betrayal of Rem, commencing the progressive deterioration of Subaru's mental state. Reason being that, just like the cycle of loops before, Subaru had once again used each to become more acquainted with everyone. This made each death increasingly frustrating, since to see these people he knew want to kill him out of mistrust, well, that hurt both physically and emotionally. So Rem kills Subaru up on the mountaintop, Ram tries to kill him after Rem mysteriously dies in the next loop, then Subaru has a full-on mental breakdown in the loop after that. It all led towards this pivotal moment with Amelia, since nothing heals quite like a good lap pillow. This was the turning point for Subaru and the true beginning of his journey with the Amelia camp. That being the case, Rem and Ram start to trust him a little bit more, Beatrice becomes more acquainted with the person always invading her library, then the mystery of his first death starts to unravel itself. As it turns out, the curse placed on him was a result of mob beasts, demon-like monsters created by the Witch of Gluttony. They were being controlled by Meili, who, if you remember from Season 2, is a mob beast master. Now, you may think that this too was a trial set up by Roswaal, but it's important to note it actually wasn't. Whoever hired Meili is someone whose identity still remains a secret to us. In any case, it's after this that Subaru and Rem go through that whole bonding experience. With a constant back and forth of life or death situations, that shared conflict led the two of them to become closer. It's a key relationship that heavily defines both their characters onward, especially in the next arcs of the Royal Selection and the Whale Hunt. So, with Subaru now a full-fledged member of the Emilia camp, he decides to accompany them to the royal capital where all candidates of the Royal Selection are finally introduced to us. There's the Honorable Valkyrie Krush, the great businesswoman Anastasia, the Sun Princess and Bloody Bride Priscilla, then the former thief and slumdog Felt. Each have their own personal knights too, who through one way or another, Subaru also becomes acquainted with. The one who takes the spotlight here though is Julius and the rivalry he creates with Subaru. You see, after sticking up for Emilia and calling himself her knight, Subaru had unknowingly insulted everyone present who was a knight. It was Julius who then stepped up to put Subaru in his place, but Subaru's pride wouldn't allow that. No, he instead doubled down on everything he was saying, digging deeper the hole both himself and Emilia were sitting in. This is where Subaru's insecurities come to the forefront, since despite knowing he'd never win in a duel, Subaru challenges Julius anyway. He's then humiliated exactly how you'd expect, setting in motion a perpetual downward spiral of pain and misery. You see, after acting out of impulse and embarrassing both himself and Emilia, the damage done had caused Emilia to cut ties with him. It's from here Subaru starts to unravel both mentally and emotionally, leading to this growing sense of self-loathing as he's left behind in the capital. Fast forward through some sword training with Wilhelm, a few discussions with Krush about the royal selection, then one glorious lap pillow with Rem, and that's when we get to the next set of deaths for Subaru. It was after Rem sensed trouble and Krush reported suspicious activity that Subaru decided he would go back to the manor regardless of Emilia's wishes. What awaited him there was nothing good though, as the slaughter of everyone had already happened. Subaru then freezes to death, is kidnapped, mentally tortured, then frozen to death again, proceeds to seek out help from each of the other candidates, humiliated by all of them, then commits to doing things solo. It's this time he encounters the White Whale though, who erases Rem from existence and leaves Subaru to get picked up by the Emilia camp. Fortunately, they're still alive in this loop, but not for long, as everything that's been happening finally pushes Subaru to reveal return by death. Such a choice kills Emilia right on the spot, forcing Subaru to restart by any means necessary. So, after begging Beatrice then Betelgeuse to kill him, it's Puck who freezes him to death for a third time. This is where Subaru reaches his maximum breaking point so far and decides, maybe Rem is good enough for him. It leads to the best episode of anime I've ever watched and the overall redemption of Subaru for the better. He may have just done Rem dirty, but the support she provided was enough to set Subaru back on track again. So, Subaru's then able to broker a deal with Krush and Anastasia, setting in motion a plan which would help all three of them. They would defeat the White Whale, then proceed to wipe out Betelgeuse, the first major diplomatic move Subaru would make in this world. He likely didn't realize it at the time, but his role in all this would cement his position within the political landscape. It had earned the Emilia faction several new allies, as well as saved them from their imminent demise against the Witches cult. It had also improved Emilia's reputation by association, since who wouldn't be happy with someone who helped to defeat one of the great mob beasts? In any case, the battle with the whale had highlighted Wilhelm's tragic past, while the rest went towards Subaru's redemption. Subaru did meet one hiccup along the way, but that just helped to make sure they could take out Betelgeuse for good in the next loop, a joint endeavor Julius and Subaru took on together. Eventually, Subaru's involvement is revealed to Emilia, leading to the big climax where he finally gets to help her. It's after that his feelings and loyalty are both made clear, finishing off the season with their emotional reunion. Emilia isn't yet ready to reciprocate those feelings, but she is open and happy to receive them, laying the groundwork for a more intimate relationship to be built next season. Before we can talk about that though, there's a few key events from this season that you're gonna want to know for Season 3. Obviously, the royal selection is the biggest, since this is after all the main ongoing plot point. So aside from Emilia being a candidate herself, we'll be seeing a lot more from all the other factions. There's Anastasia, the one bringing them all together, making us wonder what it is that she wants from them. I mean, with her flair for business and manipulative tendencies, it's more than likely whatever it is she's planning has her come out on top. She's supported by the mercenary group, the Iron Fang, and her motive for ruling is simply out of greed. Next is Subaru's closest ally Krush, but her incident in Season 2 has left her at a disadvantage. Where she was once a frontrunner for her noble and pragmatic attitude, the loss of her memories makes her far less threatening. Her faction is still quite strong, what with Wilhelm, Felix, and a sizable military force, but that alone isn't enough to get what she wants. It's kind of irrelevant now that she lost her memories, but her motive before was to make Lugunica more independent. She envisions a nation that can fight for itself. Priscilla's a candidate more shrouded in mystery, since while her arrogant attitude makes her seem hedonistic at first, to me it seems like there's an additional layer beneath that. I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but the belief in her own superiority makes her by far the most confident candidate. She's supported by her attendant Al, and her goal is to make everyone serve her. If they do, then anything they want will be granted to them. Finally, we have the last-minute addition Felt, who with the backing of what's pretty much God himself, probably has the strongest faction out of everyone. She's also supported by the people of the lower class too, making her the most disruptive candidate. Her goal is to flip the whole hierarchy on its head and completely reverse the current political situation. Whether she has the pull necessary will be interesting to see, but what's more intriguing is how conflict will be resolved when Reinhardt's involved. You see, with him now being present for Season 3, I can't imagine there's a threat strong enough to challenge him. That's getting more into speculation territory though, so for now we can just move on to the other key events. There's actually not too many others from Season 1, but if you like Wilhelm, then we'll be seeing a lot more of him too. But yeah, that's a recap of ReZero Season 1, and a bit of insight on how it'll relate to Season 3. The video for Season 2 will come out in a few days, so if you want to see that or more videos on Season 3, then feel free to subscribe because I'll be making them weekly. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content, then you already know what to do. So, until next time, ciao!